In many senses of the word, Udai Pareek was the father of the human resource development movement in India. First implemented in L&T, where he consulted, he utilized this concept to move away from the industrial relations and personal management focus that people management and organizations were mired in. Till then, with the creation of the world's first HRD division, he was the first in the world to use this term human resources development, which is today an accepted terminology. It is based on this concept that UNESCO has launched its lifelong learning initiative. Udai Pareek was instrumental in introducing and popularizing sophisticated tools on assessment and intervention as the professor of organizational development at IIM Ahmedabad for 12 years from 1973. He later moved on to public roles with governments and multilateral agencies. In 1985, along with Dr. T.V. Rao and others, he helped establish the National HRD Network, the forum from which we speak today, of which he was president in 1991. Udai Pareek was 85 when he passed away in 2010. In his lifetime, he probably did more than anyone else for the cause of HRD in India, founding several institutions, changing the way several companies operated in using their people resources, publishing over 60 books, and much more importantly, mentoring a whole new generation of HR professionals in our country who today look up to his legacy. In this short presentation, we pay homage to Udai Pareek, the multifaceted man, the professional, the teacher, the author and the mentor. May his legacy continue to inspire and make a difference.
Without thinking, I joined Udai, went to Delhi, and this was my first trip to Delhi. And then I could see a totally different person than what one assumed. Very unassuming person, straight away takes you to his house, gives you all the time breakfast, lunch, dinner and so on, and very hardworking. Early in the morning at 7:30 or 8 o'clock he would be in Nehai's office. So you can't do anything other than, I think, just beat him in terms of hard work. One of the exercises there was write your own obituary. Udai Pareek died such and such date. His major contribution is influencing the thinking of a large number of people. He is a great researcher. So his obituary is filled with academic contributions. Nowhere in the obituary he mentioned that he died as a Padma Bhushan, Padma Shri and things of that kind.
And he was always very helpful. I never saw any sense of jealousy in him or any bitterness. He was always a helpful person who tried to understand the other point of view.
And he would maintain a balance between his family and his profession.
First of all, he had a lot of faith in the younger generation. Unlike people his age who generally say, "वो ज़माना नहीं रहा जो हमारे time था." He believed in the young generation because he thought they were far more intelligent, far more well-rounded.
It's a simplicity. The person was so erudite, so well known in his own area, who has really contributed in a substantial way. But if you meet him, he was so unassuming.
In his student days, he was a sportsman and he used to play badminton very well.
He'll give you an idea, get you to work on it, and make you feel that you are the owner of your work.
The computer, first time I came to know about the computer, first time I came to know the language Fortran. So still I remember in 1970, if you could think about the computer factor analysis, say look, he was a man who was having farsightedness about this subject.
I think his greatest contribution to learn is students, some of the people whom he taught, whom he guided, and not only in terms of the scholarship, but also in the way of thinking, critical, dispassionate, objective thinking, value-oriented thinking. So he was secular in the wider sense of the term. Like a true teacher, he would always go prepared. But this was all Udai's influence. It was not to pamper.
That is training for development. This book, this is the revised second edition. This cover that you see is 1990, but 64 was the first edition. A kind of magnum opus, a great work. It was a textbook or recommended book or suggested readings in many US universities. That is, planning of change in education with Griffin. Another is this book, Understanding Organizational Behavior. Here he has put together in two covers almost the synopsis of whatever he wrote for the organizational behavior students of management. The research-based work that Udai wrote on this book, Beyond Management. This is the book, Beyond Management.
The Handbook of Instruments was Udai's initiative. He applied for a grant to ICSSR. ICSSR gave him this grant, and my contribution is, I think, making it happen. Udai used to be an idea man, and I used to be an exhibitionist.
Training instruments for HR and OT is a classic in its own way, and I think no professional or academic in India who has any pretensions to be associated with HR and OT and training and things of that sort, or research in these areas, can think of not using this book and being successful in his career.
Udai is a great institution builder. His entry to National HRD Network was after he returned from Indonesia. I must say that Udai must have attended many more meetings and influenced a lot more thinking in National HRD Network than what I have been able to do. In fact, we were hired as consultants to the personnel department in L&T in 1974, and we created a new department. Dr. Pereira was heading personnel. We took him out of that and put him in charge of HRD because he happened to be a psychologist with a lot of learning background and so on.
Initially, he was the only one who had a sort of certification from US to be an ICEPS trainer. So he started ICEPS. He also helped develop the Indian Institute of Health Management Research in Jaipur, with which he was associated in many ways. And he was also the moving spirit behind the setting up of the Academy of HRD in Ahmedabad.
He readily agreed to donate his body for research. He said, "Well, I could do research all my life. When after my life, my body should be used for research. And why not?" It was such a great gesture of Dr. Udai Pareek. It has continued to influence, motivate a lot of people in Jaipur city to also donate their body